Hello, Speed Gaming Land, and welcome. We have a Pseudo Boots Cross Keys race going on between Great Name Pending and SaHa's Kids. This is a conference finals matchup. So far, Great Name Pending's two teammates have both taken a win over Gilgamesh's two teammates. We will see if this ends up being the deciding match for who gets to go on to the conference finals, or if it'll decide whether SaHa's Kids gets to stay alive and play a Game 4. I am Danny Music, and I am joined by What's Up? What's up? How's it going?
Not too bad. We just watched that previous match. That was really interesting. I had front row seats clicking away on that one, tracking away. But let's see how we turn out with the third match here.
Yeah, so for those who are unfamiliar, Pseudo Boots Cross Keys, you start with the boots, but they can't really do much of anything other than let you go fast, but going fast is what you want to be doing when the mode is Pseudo Boots Cross Keys. The entrances are randomized, and keys as well as maps and compasses are shuffled into the overworld. There are also a couple of logic differences between Entrance Randomizer and other types of games, and we'll get into that if it becomes relevant. And the runners are off. Both are starting... Oh, nope. SaHa's Kids starting from Sanctuary. Gilgamesh gets quite a lot more rupees than Sin does from that opening chest. We see that the Sanctuary is in the Lost Woods, and Sin going to proceed to get rupees using the traditional Houlihan method, which is a common early game route for cross keys. Gilgamesh, in the meantime, finds bombs from the Hoarder Crab, and going to put those bombs to use immediately to check what is in the back of Escape. Sin does not find bombs from the pickle, is going to check Mire Shed.
A ruby, a piece of heart, and the mirror on Gilgamesh's side.
Yeah, mirror is a fantastic item to find early in cross keys. It does drastically increase the variety of places that the Moon Pearl could be now. So typically bunny walking usually isn't that fruitful in cross keys, but with the mirror using the Super Bunny glitch, you can check more, get more items from the entrances that you find, and you can also potentially go down a rabbit hole that lets you not be a rabbit in the Dark World anymore.
Find a bottle there on the drop-down ledge.
Yeah, so I imagine Sin is going to get this and then do the Houlihan trick to get some more rupees. Gilgamesh, in the meantime, finding Desert Palace.
Just a piece of heart so far. Or is this going to be locked, or can we continue?
Yeah, and this is where that early mirror can be an advantage, because if Gilgamesh finds a connector that leads to the Dark World, well, you can possibly mirror and find something else instead. And this is a connector that leads to the Dark World. Going to mirror here, find Death Mountain, just a map to Eastern Palace on the floating island. But this will provide full access to right or left side Death Mountain. We'll see what Gilgamesh decides to do.
Got a fairy pull from the tree. Not bad knowledge.
Mm-hmm. There's 100 rupees on that ledge. I imagine Sin won't bother to grab that 100, given that Sin already has done the Houlihan. And Gilgamesh dropping off to do the right side Death Mountain checks first.
Hyrule Castle, small key. Got Sin picking up his 300 now.
Yeah. That Hyrule Castle small key, not likely to be relevant in this seed, but sometimes it can be very relevant. I should know that from first-hand experience. And Sin gonna pick up that Moon Pearl. In the meantime, Gilgamesh finding Cuckoo House for... Oh, not Moon Pearl, Mirror. Sin is picking up the mirror. Single arrow in Cuckoo House. That's the first arrow in Gilgamesh's quiver, so a valuable find indeed.
Don't try to spend it in one place. It's not for a wasted arrow. But maybe get some more mud. 1 kill. Find a piece of heart in Ice Rod Cave, and we're out of there.
Yeah. So nothing too valuable from the mountain so far. Sin not electing to go through Desert Palace just yet. Going to check out what is behind Lumberjack Ledge next. Magic Bat. So that's not an ideal thing to see for that drop-down entrance. That drop-down entrance requires you to have the real boots as well as beat Aghanim's tower, but because it's the Magic Bat, you can't actually see what item you would get from it, but you know there is one item behind that. What is more valuable, though, is that Sin finds a sword, and at the same time, Gilgamesh goes through Super Bunny Cave and finds the Moon Pearl.
We are definitely getting some interesting finds in here. What's gonna pop out next?
Super Bunny Cave letting out at the Ice Rod area. I'm a little surprised that Gilgamesh didn't mirror there and check what the other two entrances in the Ice Rod Cave area are, but going to be on their way. In the meantime, Sin also goes through Super Bunny Cave, gonna get that Moon Pearl, get the full magic restored, and we'll see if Sin will show the other entrances in the Ice Rod Cave area.
He's got that mirror out already, so I believe he's got it. Going to. Looking like it.
Yep. So we can't do those rock entrances yet because we don't have a glove upgrade, but this is two that are Sphere 1 entrances. Just a piece of heart from Cave 45. And the old man's starting point.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So at least you know once you save him, you've got easy access to that area for the glove. Once you get the glove, I mean.
Yep, this is also a handy find for Sin right away, because Sin's going to be able to do Death Mountain. Oh, wait, no. Okay. Skullwoods we have. I got my Dark Caves mixed up briefly.
And we found the Eastern Palace in Kakariko.
Yeah, Gilgamesh going right into Eastern Palace. A little bit difficult because Gilgamesh doesn't have a sword yet, but should have no problem getting through and checking the 4 chests that are available at this point. We also know that Eastern Palace is a crystal. Sin finding out that we have Skullwoods layout. You can spend that small key on the door to leave, or you can save that small key for later. Sin elects to leave. If Sin would have spent the small key there, then Sin would be obligated to find another small key somewhere in the overworld. So don't blame Sin for leaving. Gilgamesh, in the meantime, finds a bow in Eastern Palace.
Definitely finish Eastern Palace in one go around if we find the big key in here.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so that bow in Eastern Palace can potentially be a valuable early find if... Oh wow, Fire Rod can also potentially be a very valuable find.
Got our fire source now. What else are we gonna find in here?
Yeah, early Eastern Palace with the goods. Sin, in the meantime, going to go to Death Mountain. We'll see what Sin decides to do here. Going to scout our Turtle Rock Medallion. That is Ether. We're a pretty long way from having all the requisite items to open that entrance.
That's the second game in a row for Ether Turtle Rock. But we don't know if that's going to play a big key right now because we don't know where it leads.
All right, Gilgamesh not opting. Well, doesn't have the hearts actually for the quick way through this room, but has no problem beating the enemies. And Sin is going to do the opposite play that Gilgamesh did. Sin is going to the left side of Death Mountain. Gilgamesh also finds the big key to Swamp Palace in Eastern Palace. So that's right in Kakariko, but a lot of very handy finds. Sin finds Sick Kid does have the bottle for just 20 rupees.
Getting a map from our compass so we can always find our way. Palace. Chest in front. Map to Ice Palace. Okay, so we can see what those two are once we're back in the Dark World, maybe.
And we saw Sin found the Brothers Connector, doesn't want to go through yet. The mountain has so many things available at this point. It's not worth pursuing connectors yet.
There was our Desert Palaces map as well, so definitely getting information everywhere, but not really useful information.
So Gilgamesh finding a Hyrule Castle. We do have the small key already, so these checks that Gilgamesh is about to do are in logic. The Desert Palace small key is a handy find, given that Desert Palace is located pretty close to the sanctuary. Sin getting dead rocked has to be pretty careful here on just 2 hearts. Fortunately, does get around it. And we see the back of Desert Palace. So Sin is opting to steal the key, which we know from Gilgamesh's side won't be necessary. But Sin, of course, doesn't know that yet.
Find our fighter shield, so we got a little bit of protection.
Yep. Alright. Ooh, Sin just on 1 heart. Very, very good play here. Sin takes a Death Warp from the Beamos in Desert Palace because it'll respawn Sin with full hearts, which will let Sin go up the mountain much more safely. That was a very nice heads-up play. Alright, let's see. And Gilgamesh finds a sword in Zelda's cell.
Okay, so we've got a bit of Master Sword knowledge already. Interesting. What do we have back here in Escape is the question.
Interestingly, Sin finds another entrance to Spectacle Rock Cave. Both of the entrances that we've found so far are on left side Death Mountain, but the vanilla entrances were in other caves.
Okay, King's Tomb has our Quake Medallion.
Alright, Gilgamesh going through Hyrule Castle on Fire Rod. We get a bottle with a bee. And Gilgamesh not going to go to the back, no reason to. Sin, in the meantime, finds the Old Man Rescue Cave. That entrance had to be somewhere on left side Death Mountain. What do we get from the old man save? Just 5 rupees.
Typical grandpa cash.
Yep. And Sin also knows where the old man's spawn is, in the Ice Rod Cave area. Not the most useful starting point, but if they find a glove, then it'll let Sin check one of those rock entrances fast. Alright, so now Sin is
With our
electing...
first upgraded male.
Mm-hmm. So Brothers Connector just leads to Upgrade Fairy's entrance.
Found Spike Cave there.
Alright, this is a good find for Gilgamesh. Mini Moldorm Cave. Let's see if something valuable is here. Big key to Desert Palace. Ooh.
GT. Big heart, piece of heart, and 20 bucks. So we can full clear desert.
Yeah, full clear desert in logic with that fire rod too. Gilgamesh now has both the big key and the small key, whereas Sin hasn't found either yet. Unfortunately, Sin took a death and isn't able to get the drop down from Spectacle Rock entrance. So that one will remain a mystery. But in the meantime, Gilgamesh finds Thieves Town.
The wall to Tower of Hera. That could be interesting. We got our lift upgrade.
That's a handy thing for Gilgamesh to find before doing some of the more esoteric areas to explore. Alright, so Sin is taking a death warp, going to check the 2 chests on Desert Palace right side. I missed where that connector led to.
Half magic there for Gilgamesh. Not the big key to Misery Mire.
Ah, it was vanilla, thank you. Alright, so Sin is going to restart here, doesn't have the small key, and knows that Sin doesn't want the items on the right side, so we'll reset to save that small key. Gilgamesh, in the meantime, finds Paradox Cave with 7 items plus 2 connectors to explore. This is one of the most valuable checks in all of Entrance.
Key to pod and a hook shot. That's gonna help. Find hookshot cave there for Gilgamesh.
Yeah, the other thing that Hookshot does that's useful is it's a nice bridge between left and right side Death Mountain. Gilgamesh has looked at the right side but not the left side yet, whereas Sin has looked at the left side but not the right side yet.
Got us another pod and our key. Backing our pod keys up, which is good if we ever find it.
I believe that second key was also Ganon's Tower. Oh, was it Castle Tower? Okay.
Yes, it was Castle Tower.
Alright, upgrade Fairy in Brothers Connector right entrance, and there is a big key on Race Game. We do have a way of getting that right now, though it would be pretty inconvenient having to go through the back of Old Man Cave and then going through Skull Woods. So we'll see if Gilgamesh can find a better way to that part of the Dark World. In the meantime, Sin going to explore Kakariko, and we'll probably be happy about what we find. Gilgamesh finds Ganon's tower, so this is actually somewhat convenient, because Gilgamesh is going to be able to do left side Death Mountain here. And yes, to answer the question in chat, in cross keys, it is usually the case that you're expected to go mirror from the correct spot in the Dark World in order to get the item on Race Game. So Gilgamesh finding Hookshot Cave with the Hookshot. We'll see what these 4 items are. Could potentially be a little while before Sin gets back here. Nothing important. So as the runners are kind of covering each other's ground, just a reminder of the stakes involved. This is the Wisdom Pendant Conference Semifinals match. Great name pending. Sin's team is up 2-0. If Sin manages to get a win, that would push their team through to the conference finals with a sweep. Gilgamesh hoping to keep SaHa's kids alive with a win and force a Game 4, which would also be SaHa's kids mode to choose. The previous playoff mode match that had happened between Top Life and Pi, Top Life got to choose the mode, chose Hard Randomizer. So the only mode that Gilgamesh's team wouldn't be able to choose in a potential Game 4 would be Hard Randomizer. I also think it's a little bit funny that Gilgamesh is a Final Fantasy boss, and Sin, if you just think of the word Sin, is also a Final Fantasy boss, those being FF5 and 10, respectively. Alright, so this is going to be new. Gilgamesh in Desert Palace does have the big key, the small key, and the fire rod to be able to complete this. Beat Landmolas. We'll see if something important is here.
Having some issue with those. Yep, totally just lost the name for those things.
Popos.
Thank you. I had it when I started the sentence and lost it right in the middle. Thank you.
To be fair, they don't really look like an enemy that would be called a Popo.
That is true.
Alright, Sin going to scout and find that big key as well.
Go for getting our first crystal.
Switching over to Gilgamesh's music, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And there is our Ether Medallion.
Yep. So we know that Ether Medallion is required for the Turtle Rock entrance. Still a long way away from being able to open that, but could also be the medallion you need for the Mire entrance too. We'll see. Alright, Sin finding Paradox Cave and the Hookshot. I imagine that Sin is going to take the same path that Gilgamesh did and get locked out after finding that this connector leads to Ganon's tower. There is still one more entrance to Paradox Cave that has thus far not been discovered. there was. It was a castle tower small key. Alright, and Sin getting locked out, but this is not too bad for Sin, because Sin hasn't done Hookshot Cave yet. Sin might also take this opportunity to go to the right side of Death Mountain. We know that from Gilgamesh's side that there was nothing there. We, however, have not seen the bottom of right side Dark Death Mountain, and that is available at present through the connector from Desert Palace.
Is that Old Man Cave that we just saw Gilgamesh find?
Old Man Rescue Cave was here. I believe that the back of Old Man Cave is in Skull Woods. Sin actually going to go through Hookshot Connector instead. We'll put off right side Death Mountain for now. That leads to the Village of Outcasts area, and there's a lot of things that can be done here, including getting that big key, which we know to be on Race Game. And Sin finds Ganon's Tower. Not too much we can do into Ganon's Tower yet. Going to be able to scout that torch item. Don't need it. Just get Hope Room. If we find a Cane of Samaria, then that plus Gilgamesh's Fire Rod would give access to the right side. And if we find a hammer, then that plus both runners' hookshot would gain them access to the left side.
We just find a red mail, so we get a little bit more health protection at this early part of the seed.
Yeah, I like the detail that Link is still pink even with the mail upgrades. So as VXR points out, it is a vanilla Ganon because we have now seen all of the drop-downs except for Ganon. That's honestly a situation that I tend to prefer because then you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to do the climb. You just know that the Ganon's Tower climb is required. The 5 items in the Kakariko Well just providing another bottle. Alright, on Gilgamesh's side, I think this is the first time we're going to see any runner check this entrance about half an hour in. It isn't anything. Gilgamesh heading to the right. This might be a play to the Eastern Palace area. These are entrances that are available from the get-go, but oftentimes runners tend not to do them until pretty late in the seed. Gilgamesh finds Misery Mire, going to go in here. This will get 7 out of the 8 items. We would need the Cane of Samaria to full clear it, but there's still a lot of value to be had.
While Sin was able to find the cape and a second castle tower key.
Ooh, that second castle tower key is a little bit scary. We know that Magic Bat is in the Lumberjack entrance. Still quite a way away from being able to get that. We would need Magic Powder plus the lamp plus the boots.
$50 so far, Misery Mine.
Alright, Sin with another 5-item cave. Let's see if this one is more profitable than the Kakariko Well.
If I remember correctly, it's just a couple of small keys. Ledge is a bust. We got a sword upgrade to Master Sword. That's always nice.
Yeah, so that sword upgrade is actually not in logic quite yet. We would need some more Misery Mire small keys to put it in logic. Not that Gilgamesh is complaining about finding a sword early.
Temporary freeze. Okay, what is this? Okay, 300 bucks. Okay, so we can go visit the scam artist now.
Yeah, definitely not a shortage of cash in this seed. Alright, Hype Cave. Map to Skull Woods. Bloomerang. Small key to Skull Woods. Red Rupee and map to Hyrule Castle. That small key to Skull Woods has some logical implications, but otherwise this is like a 1 out of 10 Hype Cave.
I feel like the Ninja Turtles music is more hype than Hype Cave was.
To be fair, the Ninja Turtles music is more hype than on most things.
Very true.
Alright, Turtle Rock and Ice Palace are the two red crystals this seed.
I found a piece of heart right as we do a death warp. We're out of there. Yep.
Alright, and Sin finds Palace of Darkness. Doesn't have the bow yet that Gilgamesh does. Gilgamesh got that bow from Eastern Palace, so Sin does have potions, so I imagine that Sin will still do the potion camera unlock glitch to get the two items that are on the right side. I think the reason why we're seeing Sin menu there is actually to confirm, hey, do I have potions?
He's heart so far.
Sin making sure to use a little bit of magic early. Remembers that Sin doesn't have the real boots to bonk open that wall. Yep.
Chest game is just gloomy, so it goes nothing in it clip.
Alright, successful potion camera unlock. That allows Sin to basically trick the game into thinking that those enemies were defeated, even though they're just right there in the room.
But we won't tell. I promise. Cane of Samaria, nice!
That's a very nice pull. So Sin is going to be able to potentially full clear Mire when Sin finds it. Doesn't have a fire source yet, though. Beating Mire in logic would require the lamp for the back. But with the fire rod, that tends to be close enough of a substitute, because you can still get the items that are on left side. Might be a little while before Sin gets that fire rod, though. A lot of things are looking more attractive than Eastern Palace right now, and Sin is less likely to find the other bow that could potentially draw Sin in. However, that ice rod is another nice find from Palace of Darkness.
Then we just also found that Titan's units would not necessarily need. And flippers, wow, plentiful pod.
Flippers locked behind 6 pod keys.
These two earned a pull check here.
Yeah, Gilgamesh, interestingly, got to run to Ice Rod Cave, didn't even know that the old man was there.
Swamp Palace. Well, at least it's right next to a start or save point.
So, getting any of the 10 checks that are in Swamp Palace would require, at minimum, those 6 pod keys in order to get the flippers.
Yes, but we still need to also find the dam to drain it.
So Gilgamesh making use of that whirlpool. I think was intending to check the rock, but maybe you checked it already?
I see Sin going ahead and ditching his red meringue to save his key instead.
Oh, Gilgamesh had found the Eastern Palace big key. I missed where that was.
I forgot. I remember for a bit, and then that would not be fun.
Okay. It was in Egg Cave, so I think that would be in the south light world route that Gilgamesh did. So something like Mini Moldorm Cave. You know that Eastern Palace is a crystal. Sin finds Mimic Cave underneath the rock at the top of Dark Death Mountain.
Double check. And there's the back.
There's a pod key. Is Sin gonna go through? Sin is not going to beat the boss, despite having all 3 Skullwood small keys. So, Sin is saying that Skullwoods does in fact not have it. We'll see if that turns out to be true. Oh, Sin doesn't have the fire rod either, so Sin can't beat the boss.
And there we go with our first crystal. Let's rock out to Turtle Power.
I believe it's actually Gilgamesh's second crystal. Gilgamesh beat the desert boss as well.
Okay, I thought we saw one, but I was just forgetting. So thank you for correcting.
we're going to see 2 new checks on Sin's side. We had access to these before. The bottom of Dark Death Mountain. Gilgamesh, in the meantime, going to get the items out of the Kakariko Well. We find Aghanim's Tower. With 2 Castle Tower Smalls. Also find Bumper Cave. Yeah, this is unfortunately a pretty inconvenient fight with these guards. They take a lot of hits on Fighter Sword, but at least they can be stunned with Hookshot. Also, the stun prize is 20 rupees. I'm not sure if we knew that earlier.
Need a Misery Mire. Could play useful.
Alright, nice job navigating that dark room from Sin, just for a piece of heart. Yep, does clear Castle Tower out of the 2 checks that were there. We could still need to come back later if there's something important on Magic Bat. Gilgamesh, in the meantime, finally gets that Tempered Sword. And we'll see that it is Magic Bat that is on the Lumberjack entrance.
Turtle Rock entrance.
Yeah, interestingly, Sin doesn't go for that chest.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah, it does have the cane, doesn't have the fire rod, but there was one chest that you can get for free without spending any Turtle Rock small coins.
Yeah, I was just forgetting about the last chest there. So.
In the meantime, we see Tower of Hera at the Agina's Cave entrance. And with the Hookshot in hand, that is something that we're going to be able to beat. But not get all of the items.
Okay. Gotta check basement if we really want it. But watching get out of GT small.
So that Ganon's Tower Small is out of logic behind the Tower of Hera Big Key, as is clearing Moldorm here. Fighter Sword Moldorm, not the most inviting fight, can often be the bane for No Major Glitches runners. We'll see what Sin makes of it here. It does have the cape to make it a bit easier when Moldorm starts going really fast. Very nice job. So we get 10 arrows and a crystal. So that is the first crystal for Sin. Between both runners, we actually have all of the Light World dungeons completed, and all 3 of them were the Dark World dungeon prize of crystals. And Sin opting to save and quit here, not gonna go through Turtle Rock quite yet.
Interesting, though, that actually doesn't have the fire rod. Could play a little bit of precision in that. Just for one check to time sink.
Yep, it's a lot more inviting with a fire rod for sure. And Sin piecing out of Misery Mire for now. Does have the cane and the big key, but with just Fighter Sword at the moment, that would be a very difficult boss fight. And out of logic, and Sin doesn't have a fire source.
highly boss. What does our friend underneath the bridge have for us? Hobo gives us a piece of his heart.
Oh man, you'd think he might want that.
Well, he doesn't. I could reference a Christmas song, but it's the wrong time of year.
I was just thinking, hearts do have left and right ventricles and left and right atriums, so I'm wondering if those are the 4 heart pieces. Which one of those was the hobos? We get a new check from Sin. This is the Ice Rod Cave entrance. Nothing important there. Gilgamesh, in the meantime, finds Ganon's tower, and unfortunately not going to be able to do much in it. Needs that Cane of Samaria that Sin has. Or potentially the hammer. Neither runner has found the hammer yet. Sin finds Spiral Cave at Waterfall Cave entrance. That is definitely looking like a thing to do after checking the Zora stuff.
Another bottle. Might pass that up.
Yeah, I think that's all the bottles for accounted for.
And Scam Master is a lamp source. Okay.
Alright. So that lamp puts beating Misery Mire in logic. It would take some more small keys to put full clearing it in logic, but we already know from Gilgamesh's side that the valuable thing on left side Mire is a sword.
They would help him get away from that fighter sword. They're gonna entice him enough to go dip into Mire right now.
Yeah, that is also Sin's first fire source. We'll see what Sin decides to do with that information. Sin could use it to beat Skullwoods out of logic, to do the right side of Ganon's tower out of logic, and check a bunch of connecting caves in logic.
Fine. Castle Tower. Desert Palace, but for small key.
Yep. So, we'll be able to beat that whenever it becomes convenient.
While we have our runners go ahead crossing over each other, give each of them a follow through all their hard work, because remember, this is the conference finals. They've made it to the invitationals next time.
Yep, among all those teams that are in League, this is 2 of the final 4 that are being represented here.
Nice guard abuse.
Alright, there's the Master Sword.
Right, and then since Sin has the plan, he's going to be able to traverse these dark rooms slightly quicker.
Yeah, we already know from Gilgamesh's side. Dark Crossroom is nothing important. But now it's nothing important in logic.
Okay, so yes, that was our fourth bottle. Remember. Checking out the Castle Tower in front. But we found on the ledge.
So Gilgamesh finding Palace of Darkness, this is going to lead to the Cane of Samaria, which Gilgamesh can get in logic with that bow, as well as the flippers. And is there a big QS here as well?
There was...
Oh, the mitts. That was the other
Yes,
thing.
I remember there was... Yep, there you go. It's been a minute since I've seen that room. Let me see it really across these.
Alright, so Sin deciding Lamp and Master Sword are enough. Let's take on Misery Mire. Gonna be able to get all 8 items out of this, including the Tempered Sword from left side. We'll also get to see the prize from beating Vitreous.
I'm definitely gonna enjoy that upgrade right before he goes to Vitreous.
With the cape, it's a pretty easy fight. You can just hold down the cape and spam the sword button. While you're spamming the sword button, magic will not drain, and while you're spamming the sword button, you'll also be dealing damage to the little eyeballs. Sin doesn't have a bow, which is the preferred way of beating the big eyeball, but that's not too much of an issue. Alright, there's Ice Rod and Titan's Mitts and Flippers. I think Gilgamesh hasn't gone through Bullock's side yet for the cane, but will do so pretty shortly, I imagine. Oh no, Gilgamesh does have the key. Thinking of what items we could possibly need. Oh, there's that Skullwood Small, okay. Most likely still need that hammer. I don't believe that any of the Hammerlock dungeons have been confirmed to be crystals yet, but most likely we would need it anyway. But we can beat Mothula, can beat Turtle Rock. We need Hammer for Ice Palace, and Ice Palace is a crystal, so Hammer is 100% required. There, Gilgamesh gets the knowledge that Ice Palace is a crystal.
Know that it's not going to be locked behind glass.
could still need a Thieves Town big key. We could still need a Swamp Palace small key, as well as finding the dam. But 5 completable dungeons already, that's not bad. Here's the big key that we've scouted a long time ago. It is the big key to Ganon's Tower.
Definitely nice not to have to search for that later.
Yep, and that is a big key that is 100% required because the pyramid is where Ganon is. Alright, Gilgamesh deciding not to go through Turtle Rock at this point. Doesn't have the big key for that chest. We see Sin making very quick work of Vitreous, just even going to use the cape to pin that big eyeball in the corner.
For a lot of love and a blue pendant.
Alright, so Gilgamesh has already done most but not all of Misery Mire, so if Gilgamesh gets that pendant information, doesn't hear, then Gilgamesh might be able to avoid it. I think we did see that Swamp Palace was a crystal, as well as Palace of Darkness.
Smiths have for us today. There's some explosives.
There's that big key to Eastern Palace. Sin doesn't know that it is a French vanilla bow, though, so Sin still might not do Eastern for a little while. Back in Turtle Rock, going to check that first chest in Turtle Rock this time. Still doesn't have the fire rod from Eastern Palace to be able to get the 2 that are on right side. And wow.
Big Turtle Rock, wow.
That is a spicy find.
Okay, so we'll find out what the big key is if Sin gets back over to that area. And we're doing the get through without the purple chest as down at all.
Yeah, and another thing is, Sin still knows that there's a big key on Race Game. So that's going to work out very nicely for Sin, because since the right side of Turtle Rock is the left side Race Game connector, Sin will be able to get the big chest as well as the Crystal Roller Room chest on the same trip. So Gilgamesh probably not going to be too happy after finding this big key, but Gilgamesh is going to be able to check the other 2 chests in the front here with that fire rod. Could be a little while still before Sin gets back to doing that.
Right, here we go. What's that? Not the quick what? And oh, bug net and Turtle Rock big chest.
The filet! Gotta love the filet. That's the French for net.
Guessing both of our players are in the same dungeon, just coming from different areas. Our lava chest have for us today. Thing of use.
Yep, so those right two checks of the front of Turtle Rock end up being nothing, which is favorable for Sin. We do see Bombos Medallion in the middle chest.
Which that gives an access to Ice Palace clearable. Or then, if he doesn't find a Spire Rod before then.
Yeah, we would also still need Hammer in order to beat
Fair enough.
Ice Palace. I think we would still need to find the dungeon itself.
No,
But-
semantics.
Yeah. That is definitely on the agenda, though.
Yes.
Alright, so I think Gilgamesh is heading back to... is this a shovel spot? Yeah.
Yeah, we found magic powder there in the mini roller room, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Full piece of heart from dig.
Yeah. Gilgamesh might be now heading back to do what Sin is currently doing. Going onward through to Laser Bridge. But nope. Gilgamesh has other ideas.
But we also get to more than likely see the nectar for the escape here on Turtle Rock. To Ice Palace.
It's a logically required big key. In practice, it's only required if there's something valuable in the big chest. Tower of Hera is also a logically required big key, and we actually saw Sin complete Tower of Hera without it earlier.
So, not too much there. Connector is Bonk Rocks. Not bad.
Yeah, so when the runners find boots, then that'll be very easy to get back to. That being said, the runners might not find boots, but even so, you can still get back there, just having to do the more roundabout way that Sin did to get here to begin with.
Is Gilgamesh going on now? Getting in with SaHa, finding it in Thieves Town. Okay.
So that is full pendant and crystal knowledge for us. I don't believe it's full pendant and crystal knowledge for the runners yet, but Gilgamesh finding that Misery Mire map is going to be very nice. So with knowing that Mire is a pendant, Gilgamesh is probably going to avoid coming back into Misery Mire just for the boss clear. So to say it explicitly for chat, the green pendant is Thieves Town, and the other two pendants are Skullwoods and Misery Mire.
Redsmith. In. Do a quick turn in. I believe we've seen pyramid check yet, and it's just a piece of heart.
Hmm. Gonna be able to mirror here for the other 3 entrances. Well, for 3 entrances, I should say.
Witch's hut, okay. Grabbing some safety blue, not a bad idea.
Small key, but we can't get that without the real boots. Gilgamesh expressing his frustration.
Exactly ideal place to get back to either without that connector.
Yeah. We haven't found the small key to Swamp Palace yet. So in practicality, that could be just a Turtle Rock small key, which we don't really need right now, given where the Turtle Rock entrances are, but if you're playing the race, then you always think of the worst possible scenario. Alright, Sin also gonna turn in the purple chest. Gilgamesh being very careful when going back through that mirror portal. If you mirror on the right side, it's faster to do it, but it's easy to mirror bonk if you're not lined up exactly in line with the portal when you return to it.
Got another piece of heart there. Nope, the shuffle, that's right. That turns into another heart.
Alright, Graveyard Ledge from Gilgamesh. I don't think we saw this from Sin earlier.
No,
Oh, yeah, we
That's
did.
where we got
Yeah,
the
we did.
key. Hey, that's right.
Yeah. But we are going to see some of Ganon's tower. Gilgamesh has the red cane, still not the boots, and also does have the fire rod. So we're going to be able to go to the basement of Ganon's tower through the right side, have plenty of small keys to be able to get all these items and have them in logic. And Gilgamesh also has the GT big key, so we'll see the big chest of Ganon's tower, and then we'll also see the GT climb, because we know that Ganon himself is on the pyramid.
And using the strat to conserve magic by holding onto the wall while using the cape, bypassing everything to enjoy a little break from everything flying at you.
Yeah, so I like this. This is a high-density play for Gilgamesh. Sin still needs to go into Eastern Palace in order to get that bow and fire rod, but funny enough, Sin will be able to complete Eastern Palace in one trip upon just making that call to go in, but when you don't have the bow and when there are 2 in the pool, and it seems like there are a lot of better things to do.
Giving us much of anything so far.
Alright, Gilgamesh remembers that he doesn't have the boots for this room. If you did have the boots, you could use them to bonk over that pit. But without him, you have to do it the way Gilgamesh just did. So the trick for this room, after Gilgamesh checks the big chest, you actually can use the pseudo boots to bonk off the skull and cross the gap. And Gilgamesh is going to demonstrate that here. That's one of the few bonk setups that does still work in pseudo boots.
On a couple of things that got unlocked by grabbing that Book of Medora there. Ooh, and our first bow. Or our second bow, I mean.
Yeah, that is a very good find for Sin. That'll bring Sin into Eastern Palace, and Sin will find the other bow as well as the fire rod, which Gilgamesh has had for some time. Sin might even be on the way to Eastern Palace right now.
Hammer.
Wow. Alright, so this just turned into a full clear of GT. With the exception of the torch item, which we already scouted to be nothing.
Okay, what does our Stalfos room have for us today? E2 Turtle Rock. Really don't want that.
I appreciate using the Ether Medallion to deal with the Stalfos. It can be pretty annoying.
Firebar room has 300 rubies. Not really needed anymore.
Alright, Sin remembering that Sin doesn't have the boots to get that small key. The big time save there.
Okay, 4 more checks here in the randomizer room.
Alright, I think this is a play to the Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace area for Sin. Ooh, they're the real boots for Gilgamesh.
Dark Palace key.
Yep.
So we're going for the climb. Okay.
GT's got the goods.
Question is there going to be anything that brings Gilgamesh over to get his silver?
Yeah, Catfish is a commitment for Gilgamesh at this point. We know that silvers aren't that important in the grand scheme of things, really, as we see Sin find Ice Palace. I think Sin is the first one to find Ice Palace. Gonna bail out of that without the hammer to complete it. Gilgamesh, however, has the hammer, but doesn't have the Ice Palace big key. So we'll see what Gilgamesh decides to do upon finding Ice Palace. If there is something important in the big chest of Ice Palace, then that could end up benefiting Sin in the long run.
Gauntlet rooms with not too much issues. Open up a portal. Not gonna check it. Okay. In the other end of that is why.
But yeah, talking about go mode situations, with that Palace of Darkness big key, we can complete Pod for another crystal. We would still need to find the Swamp Palace small key, as well as find the dam itself. We have access to most of the entrances in the game. We have not found a connector that leads to the Misery Mire area yet. We also haven't found the flute, which is another way of getting there. But there is a chance that we could see Go mode pretty soon. I think Sin had forgotten to check that Flute 5 entrance when Sin was here earlier. Bit unfortunate.
Those guards just like to bully people on that bridge today. Just...
Alright, Sin going through Paradox Cave. Small key to TR is a nice find. Lets you be a little bit more flexible with the TR small keys in a pinch.
Another small.
2 on the climb.
Wow. Okay. So I guess we were supposed to do this before dipping Turtle Rock. Mushroom.
That is not the most favorable mushroom.
I don't remember correctly, that witch's hut was not in a very nice location.
Alright, now last we finally see Sin going into Eastern Palace. This will get the Fire Rod, and we'll need Fire Rod in order to get the hammer. So when Sin does get the Fire Rod, plus the other bow, which will make it Sin's silvers, this will probably be enough to set Sin on the right path. I imagine that going to Ganon's Tower would be a pretty early next stop after Sin finds a Fire Rod here.
First for Sin. Very happy about that. While we got Aga 2 down.
So we'll see if that small key that was on the library is Swamp Small. Gilgamesh checking the pendants and crystals. Ooh, Gilgamesh is not mirroring to check that small key that was on the library. That could potentially be a bit unfortunate. But instead, Gilgamesh is going to pick up his silvers from Catfish.
I'm likely going to combo this with actual Zora, because I do not believe he's done those checks yet.
Oh, that's funny. That Gilgamesh is just now getting to Mire. That can tend to happen in cross keys. There are some early sphere locations that you just end up not doing for a very long time. The Ganon's Tower entrance was in the Dark Sanctuary, which isn't too far from where Sin is in Kakariko Village. And at this point, GT right side is one of the more dense plays. So I think Gilgamesh didn't even drop off the mushroom at the witch's hut there. Going to hold on to it in case of fake powder, but Sin already has the actual powder. We know at this point that Castle Tower has the magic bat. We have both Castle Tower small keys, the boots, and the lamp that have been found. So, worst case scenario option is that the Swamp Small is on Magic Bat.
For the next crystal there, where is Sin gonna take us on our adventure today? Is he going to Dark Sanctuary?
Yeah, I think that that's too tempting of a play not to do right now. And yep, Sin finishes Eastern Palace and immediately heads right to the Dark Sanctuary. So this will be good. Sin will be able to full clear Ganon's Tower, get that hammer. We'll see if Sin remembers to check that library. Small key.
Been going for a little bit of practice. Not a bad idea. Understand. Keep on. Yeah. Wow, Gilgamesh, it looks like he's gonna do hammers. Yeah, the hammer pegs. Ooh, this. Yep. Okay. Darn.
Alright, so Gilgamesh checking these hammer-locked entrances, and entrances in general, hoping to find that dam. Both runners still hoping to find that Swamp Small. Gilgamesh hasn't found the Tower of Hera entrance yet, and is probably on the path to do so.
Yes, Ganon is vanilla.
Alright, so Sin showing the difference between pseudo boots and the real boots there. Can't bonk over that gap with pseudo boots.
I don't see why Gilgamesh would not full clear while we're here.
Yeah, Gilgamesh hasn't even found Laser Bridge yet, so this will work out. That's where Magic Powder was. Alright.
Skates.
Sin about to get that hammer. Gilgamesh with the big key to Ice Palace. I think Gilgamesh has found Ice Palace already. Ice Palace is at Dark World Flute 5, I believe.
Logicking sounds right, but I cannot remember for sure.
And we haven't seen either runner go into Ice Palace at all yet, so Swamp Small Key could just be there. But after this dungeon clear, it's mostly entrances that the runners need to find.
Climax decides to go and drop a flute.
Yeah, that would be great. I believe the only entrances that we can't get at this point are the ones in the mire area. Haven't found a connector that leads there yet, and otherwise they would require the flute. But with all three medallions, we can get the Turtle Rock entrance. We can get the Pyramid Fairy entrance, because both Ice and Turtle Rock are clearable. There Sin finds the boots. Not too much else yet to find. Alright, so Sin going up the GT climb, and Gilgamesh is about to find Tower of Hera.
Our Hera big key that Ash is coming in here with is going to play into a factor.
That's true. Sin did this without the big key. I think Sin also did this without a fire source, so we haven't seen the Hera basement chest yet either. Let's see if Gilgamesh elects to check that or skip it. Hera basement is a slow one. Nothing in the Hera big chest, though.
Yes, Ganon Tower is fully in logic. A lot quicker work of Mold Form with a tempered sword than had to do with his fighter sword.
Yeah, that's a good point.
In time, Sin is making quick work of everything in GT with those silver. Time saves where you get them. Okay, we're gonna see G downstairs. Okay.
Yep, this is another new check. Hera basement is a slow one, but both runners have had the Hera small key for quite some time. And to answer a question in chat, the small keys to Ice Palace are mostly cosmetic. At least one would have to be found for it to be in logic. Two, if the red cane isn't available, but we know in this case that it is. And the runners would also need the Ice Big Key, which they both have. Because of the bomb jump and the icebreaker technique, though, regardless, runners will be able to full clear Ice Palace with all the requisite items and not having any small keys.
Okay, finding out both Power Hera checks that Sin skip did not turn out to be anything, so I'm saved.
Yep. Gilgamesh about to find the bottom of Paradox Cave. And that could lead to Gilgamesh going to that connector that's at Ganon's Tower, because there are some entrances on the mountain that we can do now. Also do Ether Tablet. Gilgamesh not going to do it yet. Thinking... Yep, not going to do it yet.
Agons continue to have bad patterns on this. Thought earlier when Gilgamesh was doing his mushroom out, so it looks like we're gonna do a turn-in.
Yeah, no reason to hold on to the mushroom anymore, because Gilgamesh has now found the powder. Alright, the thing that I want to see Sin do is mirror here, because Sin can now get the small key that's atop the library, and if that is the Swamp Small, then that is a very major advantage for Sin. Thieves Town Small.
That gives us big chest access, if I'm not mistaken.
And to answer questions in chat, we don't know yet if the runners will need the flute. The only entrance that we're looking for that we haven't found yet is the dam, and we still haven't found it yet. But there are a couple of other entrances, mostly on the mountain, that we have access to that haven't been checked yet. Chief among them is that Turtle Rock vanilla entrance, which is locked by mirror. Sin, however, does already know about the presence of Ice Palace and gonna head immediately there for a full clear. Gilgamesh now remembering that small key that was on the library, so is gonna have that thief sound small, but we'll probably wish that they had remembered it earlier.
Well, we should just find Art in Gator Room. Okay. That way, then we're gonna go do Icebreaker. I'm guessing Gilgamesh knew about it. They were just waiting to do the mushroom turn-in. I respect it.
Alright, we'll see what Sin finds in Ice Palace. So, oftentimes when runners do Ice Palace with Icebreaker, the question is, do you have to go hit the crystal switch before doing Ice Palace? And the rule of thumb is that if you have the big key for sure, and at least one small key, and are not expecting to find a small key in Ice Palace, then you don't have to hit the switch, otherwise you do. So in this case, since the runners do have the big key but don't have any small keys, hitting the switch is preferred.
On Ice Palace. Nurse here in Ice Palace will give us Synchronicity.
I always like that bomb jump in the freezer's room too. There's the Swamp Small. Alright, so Gilgamesh going to be slightly behind to finding that Swamp Small, but does have the advantage of already having cleared both Desert Palace and Turtle Rock. So this is still anyone's game. The dam has to be found before the runners can complete the game. But at the very least, both runners are going to be able to go mode Swamp, and that'll probably feel good for both of them.
Very bite or Cold Stare by Shine. Prize some bombs. Why not? The crystal. Where's Sin gonna go off to now?
I think Sin has generally explored more of the overworld than Gilgamesh did. Sin did a lot of this when not having the fire rod, and did a lot of exploration instead of going into Eastern Palace to find the fire rod, whereas Gilgamesh had the benefit of finding most of the progression things right away. But Gilgamesh has beaten Ganon's Tower for longer, has had the boots for longer, so it is still anyone's game.
Okay. Bonk Rock's given us. He found it in Iced Tea Room.
I believe Gilgamesh got that as well. Every now and then you see a runner skip Iced Tea, but I don't think the runners would do it in this case.
And speed works again.
So yeah, we have a couple of entrances that remain to be checked. Most notable among them, the Turtle Rock entrance, which requires the Ether Medallion that is on the Desert Boss.
But we've come out of Turtle Rock, so we're not too worried about that.
Oh, did we? I missed when that happened. Alright, another one of the obscure entrances is the Pyramid Fairy entrance, which is doable without the flute. The big red bomb is in the Village of Outcasts, so you can escort that big red bomb all the way to the pyramid. It would be awful to have to do it that way, so the runners are probably going to try to find the flute first. But Gilgamesh is going to check the Turtle Rock entrance now. There's actually quite a lot of the mountain that Gilgamesh hasn't done yet, including finding Swamp Palace. Or, finding Skullwoods. Skullwoods is a pendant, so that's not too relevant anyway. And no, it is not a connector, it is a small key. Gilgamesh saying, I don't need small keys anymore, and gonna let that one sit there.
Okay, my bad.
Sin, in the meantime, heading to the Palace of Darkness boss. This is something that Gilgamesh can do, but hasn't done yet. If it leads to the flute, then it might be Sin who makes it to find the dam first. Gilgamesh had elected not to go through the back connector to Turtle Rock earlier. And can't say I blame Gilgamesh. If you were to get locked out, then it would be pretty awful. Small key to Misery Mire, all that does is put the sword that both runners have for Misery Mire in logic.
Next crystal.
Alright, Gilgamesh going through Super Bunny Cave. This leads to the Dark World Shopping Mall. And Gilgamesh hasn't checked the entrance under the rock there. I believe Sin already did, though. Alright, and this is going to be Sin catching up on crystals. We'll be able to get the boss cleared here, and then possibly go back in to check the two chests that are fire rod locked after this. I believe Sin should know where Desert Boss is. The entrance was at, as we get the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle music back, the entrance was at the place where you return the old man to. Gilgamesh going through some extra connectors, hoping to find a way to that Misery Mire area, but I don't know if a way is possible at this point.
I'm trying to think of what's left to check at this time.
Yeah, Gilgamesh, in the meantime, putting off going to Palace of Darkness. I was gonna say, maybe he wants to find another small key first, but Gilgamesh did turn down a small key in Checkerboard Cave. Sin going through Desert Palace. This will get Sin back on top of Dark Death Mountain. But this is good routing for Sin. This will put Sin directly on the path to get a couple entrances along the way, and then go into Desert Palace to complete it. Gilgamesh, in the meantime, heading to the back of Palace of Darkness. So both runners are going to be even on crystals very shortly. We'll see where this descent cave leads. Nowhere too essential. Yeah, the go mode for both runners at this point is finding the dam. I think at this point there is exactly one entrance that they can get to without finding the flute, and that is at Pyramid Ferry. The big red bomb is in a very unpalatable location in the village of Outcasts. Otherwise, these runners might be looking for an item. So it'll be interesting to see if one of the runners does decide to make that play of running all the way over with that big red bomb, or if Flute just turns up somewhere and that's the ball game.
Either way, that's just, wow. Not very nice likings for a setup here. As we get a double boss. Oh no. Yep, double boss kill.
Yeah, simultaneous crystal grabs. So Sin hasn't checked that Turtle Rock top entrance either. Didn't have the Ether Medallion when up there. That could end up being what Sin does next. We know that there is a small key in the Turtle Rock entrance. Don't know what dungeon that small key goes to, but it's irrelevant at this point. Yeah, so Sin heading immediately up the mountain for Turtle Rock. Gilgamesh still going to go through some connectors, hope to find a way to that mire area that doesn't necessitate finding the flute. Not sure if we saw this entrance yet.
We had.
Aw, rats.
We're quickly running out of everywhere to look. I think your Pyramid Ferry play is gonna be where to go.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, items-wise, there's not that many places to look for items either. One check that both runners haven't done yet is the Skull Woods boss, which we could see Sin doing right here. Mothula is just a couple of cave drops below.
Okay, get a connector from Old Man, see what this is.
I believe this will lead to the back of Skull Woods, but we'll also get a look at what's on the pedestal. Or not. Flute on pedestal, I think, is still technically possible, but it would be pretty difficult. But Gilgamesh hasn't even checked the back of Skull Woods yet. We know that Skull Woods' back does not have the goods, but Gilgamesh doesn't know that yet. And to clarify in chat, there is a reason to check ped. The flute could be on the pedestal. All 3 Skullwoods keys have been found. The only thing that has not yet been found is the Turtle Rock big key.
Yeah, we did. It was the front of Turtle Rock.
Or, sorry, the Thief Sound big key. The pedestal is absolutely in play, and we haven't seen it been read yet.
Not mistaken, we've seen both tablets be checked. Okay, we've got Gilgamesh and Outcast. Is this play for the ball?
All right.
Oh boy.
This is the big red bomb play for Gilgamesh. All right. This bomb has got to go on a very long journey, but it is an entrance. So if this leads to the dam, then Gilgamesh is in go mode.
Looks like Sin is right on heels to do that check.
So it's very close. It's also possible that this does not lead to the dam, but could lead to something else that leads to flute, or it could just have the flute. So it is a very slow race with both runners. Sin making a bit of use of the trick where you hookshot and then dash immediately afterward. This lets you run with the bomb, which you're not able to do otherwise. Also remembering that you can't jump off the ledge with the bomb, you have to actually go down those stairs. Here we go. Is this the dam? No, it is nothing.
Oh wow. What are I'm guessing Skull Woods, maybe.
Yep, it could be that Skullwood's boss. I can't think of anything else that we haven't checked that is in logic other than the absolute worst case scenario, which is, well, Pedestal is still in play. We would need the big key to Thieves Town to make that available to us right now. But something that's awful that is available to us right now is clearing Castle Tower for the magic bat, and then hoping that flute, or something leading to flute, is on magic bat.
Neither one of those checks are nice, whether it's magic bat or pedestal.
And Siryu pointing out, yep, that was a pyramid fairy. We did it. A fairy has been found in the pyramid. So Gilgamesh checking Ether Medallion. I think Sin didn't get this one earlier. Or Ether Tablet, rather. Oh, Sin did get it earlier, okay. Sin coming
right
to...
side.
Yep, right side Turtle Rock. We'll get the map to Turtle Rock, and that won't tell us anything at all. And, Guten Abend, SpeedGaming Deutsch. We are in the middle of a cross keys race. I guess more accurately, we're hopefully towards the end of a cross keys race. Both runners have found everything that they need except for the dam and have checked all of the entrances available to them currently, so we're going to need another item to get us to that dam.
Just currently searching for it, and looks like it's going to be in a pendant dungeon. Starting to see them cleaning up the rest of their checks here that they didn't complete earlier.
Alright, so Sin gonna grab the Tower of Hera big chest here. We know that it's nothing. Gilgamesh gonna grab Spike Cave.
Thinking Sin checked that earlier. Was
Yeah.
bunk as well.
Yeah, both of these checks are redundant. I think it really does come down. Oh, there's the big key to Thieves Town, actually. Okay. Sin did not check that yet.
Okay.
Well, back of Thieves Town, it is a pendant, but it is also 4 items, plus an additional item from Sahasrahla, any one of which could be the flute. That also does put the pedestal officially in play, because now we have all the items that we need to be able to pull it.
Made everyone in chat happy. Bombo's tablet has been checked. I'm gonna say they comboed it with the purple chest.
Alright, Sin also about to grab that Thieves Town big key.
Nectar, the back of this. Don't think anyone's checked this.
I believe we saw the runners run backwards through Hookshot Cave earlier. So Thieves Town is actually very close to where Spike Cave is. Thieves Town is just in the blacksmith's house.
Okay, looks like both of our runners are heading towards all woods here.
This is Pod for Gilgamesh for the last chest that is the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, I was wrong. They're both gonna do the same on the big key chest.
I think the one that Sin didn't check yet is the one in Harmless Hellway chest. Sin save scummed the big key chest earlier.
Oh, you're right, he did.
And there's that red meringue for Gilgamesh. Also gonna get the big chest. Oh, maybe that's what Sin is here for, actually.
Flute!
And it's flute! Wow!
Okay. At least we're right there, mirror and unlock.
Oh, and yeah, Harmless Hellway was the flippers. The runners had checked that earlier. Okay, so Gilgamesh is about to get that flute too. These runners are going to be seconds behind each other. This could just come down to what order they check the entrances in the mire area.
It could just be execution, we don't know. It's seconds apart. But we've got ourselves a tight race here. That's what we've got.
Yep, this is extremely close. So this is where the gamble of do you check the mire entrance last could pay off. And if you check that mire entrance last, then you don't have to sit through the cutscene of using the animation. But Sin finds the dam on the first chance opportunity in the mire shed vanilla entrance. So pulling the dam, going to save and quit immediately. Swamp Palace is right outside the old man starting point, which Sin is going to. This is a very tight race. Gilgamesh is hot on Sin's heels. The race is definitely far from over. But Gilgamesh is going to be mirroring and fluting instead. The way that Sin got back to the Mire area is faster. Or got back to the Swamp Palace is faster, and Gilgamesh really doesn't have the time to spare.
You're gonna start seeing some small mistakes from both the runners because nerves are setting in once they found that the dam. Because they're like, oh no, has my opponent found this before me?
Yeah, neither runner probably feeling great about where that flute is right now. These little optimizations really matter. Beating Ganon as fast as possible, beating Argus as fast as possible. It all makes a difference right now.
And chat has us tracking about 40 seconds separating the entrances on this. So that is definitely a GT key. Oh, or exit. Oh, done. Nope, we did GT already. I went to say Ganon, I just can't speak right.
Yep, Ganon was vanilla, so both runners had to climb GT. Alright, a very nice Phase 1 Argus fight from Sin. Gonna hit the silver immediately on Phase 2. That is Argus down and Sin's 7th crystal collected. We also see a small key to Ice Palace. That didn't even have any logical implications. Gilgamesh just a few rooms away from that boss fight. Hot on Sin's heels, hoping to close that gap. So fun fact, if you don't have Aghanim cleared, which these runners do not currently, then fluting to 5 is the fastest way to get to the pyramid. A lot of people think it's fluting to 4 and walking there, but it's fluting to 5 instead. Gilgamesh with an extremely nice Argus fight. Just a couple seconds behind. Gilgamesh does flute to 4, though. So that is a slight time difference, which does matter in this late stage.
Phase 3 enter. Duration flashes out on the pig, why not?
Ganon deserves it at this point.
So we enter the 4th phase for Sin. Gilgamesh enters his Ganon fight.
And that is 4 silver arrows into the pig. All Sin has to do now is cross that bridge.
Make sure you get your GGs in chat, everybody.
And with that, Sin has finished the race with an official time of 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 51 seconds. Gilgamesh right behind.
with that win, we do have our Game 3 decision that our great name pending will be moving on.
Alright, Gilgamesh with an extremely nice Ganon fight as well. Finishes extremely close. So get your GGs in chat. This was an incredible race. A lot of fun to watch. A lot of fun to cast. And Gilgamesh finishes with an official time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 43 seconds. Less than a minute separating these runners.
That was an excellent finish to an amazing race, because we thought this could have swung anyway. But yeah, we got a nail biter.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be a very fast seat until it wasn't. Until that damn to show up.
Alright, give us a few moments. We should be joined by both of our runners.
Alright, we are joined by Sin and Gilgamesh. GG's to both of you for a very intense, close race.
Yo, GG, Gilga. What a horrible seat this was.
I was saying, like, the first 90 minutes of it were great. Like, I was feeling awesome about that seat, and then everything fell apart.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone went looking for the damn tour.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I still long for the seats that don't require flute. I've been playing so much cross keys lately, and like it feels like 90% of all of those seats will require flute and mids for Maya access. It's ridiculous.
I think I haven't had that experience recently, so once I got that swamp small, my brain was like, all right, I'm in entrance go mode. I don't need to pick up any more chests.
Yeah, that was my mindset as well.
Yeah, and then 25 minutes later, I realized, oh, that's not the case.
I could still kick myself that I didn't pick up at least the pot big chest to get it done.
Yeah, same thing. I was convinced that I was saying in the race time room, I had like 4 connectors and 5 entrances to check after I found that swamp small. I was like, there's got to be one of them has to either be the dam or a connector to my area.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was more like I had like 4 items with the Totoro main and Hera left, so I thought maybe statistically it should be over there. And about the Spy Cave obviously was also then when I got the Thief Zombie, I was like, oh god, please no. Let's at least do port before dipping that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That was so bad.
Yeah, that was absolutely a nail biter at the end. At one point, both of you were escorting that big red bomb over to the pyramid as the last possible entrance that you guys could get with.
I know. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've done in a cross keys in a while, but I don't want to start hunting for items looking for a flute. So.
Yeah, same. I mean, it could have been over there very well.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Also, the Totoro big key got me quite good. When I saw that like early on having Samaria, oh hey, here's a Totoro big key right in front of Totoro. Nice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that ended up being pretty convenient. You knew that the big key was on left side race game, so you got the item from race game, and then it was the entrance to Turtle Rock where the big chest is, so you could just go in and get it right there.
Yeah. And the exit to laser, which had me like, oh my god, do I need boots in the seat? Well, at least give me one more small kit I could.
So a big advantage that Gilgamesh had early was doing Eastern Palace pretty much as soon as you found Eastern Palace, which led to that bow and the fire rod. So Sin waited until finding the big key to Eastern Palace, but then even after that, you were waiting to find a bow first. Upon finding the bow on Catfish, then that's what ended up drawing Sin to Eastern Palace, getting that fire rod, and then going immediately up to Ganon's Tower, which had the hammer and all that good stuff. So Gilgamesh was something like around 6 to 8 minutes ahead for the purposes of doing that stuff, but there was still a lot of dungeon clearing and exploration to be done at that point. I think what it also came down to is that in the time where Sin wasn't doing the dungeons, Sin was able to get a lot of the exploration done. So when it came to the big panic of we have to find the dam somewhere, Sin had still a lot of things to check, but I think relatively less in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I left a lot of stuff available.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Which
at
is
once,
understandable because you were finding progression, you know?
Well, yeah, I was just like, okay, I mean, the seed's just leading me where it wants to go. So like, I was worried initially. I was more worried about the swamp small because I got down to being in swamp small item go mode. And I was like, oh great, this could be anywhere. And then I just found it. I was clearing ice. So
And we want to say one more time for especially Gilgamesh and SaHa's kids. Thank you for your putting on all these rates and GGs and everything you've done. Sin and Great Name Pending, good luck on the next round. Both of you, welcome to the leagues that you will be in next season. I'm done with this. I'm What's Up. If you've got anything, go for it, Danny.
Yeah, this will mark the end of the series between Great Name Pending and SaHa's kids. It was fantastic. It was fantastic to watch. It was a super exciting conclusion. I hope you enjoy the casts. And regardless, congratulations to the both of your teams for finishing top 4 and making the promotion from Open League to Invitational League. I definitely felt that Open League was extremely competitive this time around, possibly more than it's ever been. And to make it this far is a huge accomplishment. So you all have worked very hard to earn your place and have a lot to be proud of, regardless of what happened next.
yeah, we had our team had a bit of a rough group stage, so I'm glad we were able to at least turn it around in playoffs. A little disappointed that we couldn't at least take one game off of you guys this series, but they were all pretty close. So yeah, definitely GGs and good luck in the finals, and we'll see you in Invitational next year.
Absolutely, yeah. GG to you as well. I mean, we had a rough group phase as well. We had I think several game 5s in our group, so it was rough getting here in the first place. But yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's Open League is extremely competitive, and it's been quite the experience for all the teams to be making it this far, and it's partially what makes these playoff matches extremely exciting, not only as a participant, but as a spectator. And yeah, I guess any parting thoughts for this seed for the series from either of you runners?
Give us starting flute and cross keys.
I agree. I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah, gotta play Mystery on ladder for that. Sometimes
Yeah.
you gotta starting activated flute. All right, well, congratulations on an extremely hard-fought race, and I guess to close it off, I am Danny Music, volunteering for SpeedGaming. We have more random action coming to you very shortly. Both the Invitational League Finals matchups have been established, and there is one more Open League match that is scheduled. That is actually between my team, Amish Paradise, and Farm Friends. They will be playing Swordless. My team is down 1-2, so Zero Nix is hoping to equalize it against Tabby Cat. Should be a thrilling matchup, and that is happening on Sunday at 3 p.m. Other than that, stay tuned to the SpeedGaming channels for some more randomizer action heading your way, and have a great rest of your evening.